Welcome to the UnNamed Production Company. We are back again with our basic fantasy playthrough of Hot Springs Island. This is session number 4. Where we last left off, the heroes have been shipwrecked on an island, and they have been encountered some very interesting things on this island. It is not what it appears to be. After fighting our way through some very nasty bugs, some interesting birds, and even the island itself trying to kill them, they have now retreated into the jungle. They've made their way off the beach into the interior of the jungle and have found an interesting elvish statue, somewhat lewd, as it is bearing. It's a female elf bearing one breast, and its hand is out. It looks like this thing probably was about 100 feet tall, but it is buried in the ground, so it's only the top half is showing. So the hand outstretched is pretty much laying right on the ground. Growing around it were all these very weird bushes with these big fuzzy orange flowers that had these like seed pods underneath, and some of them were like oozing nectar out. And this plant grew all around the statue, and there were some some elemental centipedes were roosted around this thing. They looked like they had been injured, so whatever hurt them, who knows where that is. The party did end up defeating them, but Niduri, our dwarf, fell into unconsciousness during that fight. He is now stabilized. And the other interesting thing is the party mage Vili. Something in this area seemed to amplify his power like 100-fold. He is literally like almost god level power at the moment. And you saw him in that battle. He used one spell and he shot one of those centipedes probably either across the island or way out into the ocean. It is out in the jungle, but it is a clearing with a big statue behind you. And so we will start at the party with Niduri. Well, Niduri's unconscious, but Niduri's there. Brother Ivar and Grimwald. Grimwald will be NPC tonight because, as you can tell from the stream, the player's not here. And then the rest of the NPC party. And Brother Ivar, if I didn't mention him, he'll be there. So we will now start. It is now 6 o'clock at night. Ryza the scout had caught a boar, brought that back, and that's been cooking on the skewer. So everyone else has set up some tents. So a lot of people are walking around the clearing. Captain Endros has mandated a guard be kept at all times. So about 5 of the random crewmen are kind of doing a rotating shift around the whole entire perimeter of this clearing. And we go over to Niduri, who is unconscious. If anyone else is there, you'll see Brother Tal, the young cleric who's dressed he's in like traveler's clothes pretty much, and he has a staff. You know him as he's a cleric of Marina. Marina is the goddess of luck and the open seas. A lot of people revere her. A lot of people hate her because they blame their luck. She's informally called the she-bitch. Oh, there's fireworks if you can hear that, sorry. A lot of clerics will tell you that she may prefer that name when you call upon her. Can you guys hear those fireworks?
Yep.
I don't know if that's screwing up the thing.
Why do you have fireworks? That's lucky.
That's the fair ending.
Oh, the fair, nice.
We live right by it.
Yep.
All right. So Brother Tal walks over, kind of puts his staff. He kneels down next to the door. He puts his staff next to him. And you see him, he kind of like runs his hand on like where the centipede got you. And you see me like, he doesn't quite shake. He doesn't like go like this, but you see like a slight, like a shake. He runs in, he pulls out like a little pouch. And as he's kneeling over, you see he kind of like looks at the pouch, looks at Niduri, pulls out some type of powder, puts the pouch away. He opens up Niduri's mouth a little bit, drops the powder in, and closes your mouth and kind of like massages your throat so you'll involuntarily like swallow it. After about 30 seconds, you open your eyes and you pretty much you'll start coughing, but you can open your eyes. You are stable at 1 hit point right now.
Nice.
Kyle like stands up. He's got a big smile on his face. He kind of like claps his hands like, aha, it worked. And see, he looks over to everyone. He's got this big beaming smile on his face.
Nice.
Niduri will just kind of like rub his throat where he was just grabbed and kind of.
Where you massage your throat probably does hurt, but the powder, I mean, yeah, I got you. It probably burned your throat a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm probably just kind of looking around to kind of figure out what happened.
As you look around, you see a lot of people are kind of like staring at you like, oh, holy crap, he's awake. The mage Vili, you see him, he's sitting back. He's sitting cross-legged on the ground. He's got like his camera. His arms, I mean, they're out like far, but I'm just to show. He's got his arms out like that. His eyes are closed. And you can literally just see like some type of energy field around him. Seems to be ignoring everything at the moment. Grimwald is by the statue. Looks like he's trying to climb it. He's not successful so far, but it looks like he's trying to get up the statue. Brother Ivar, what are you doing?
Well, I think, I was sort of standing over Niduri, tending to him, just trying to keep him comfortable or whatever. And as Brother Tal comes over, he was probably the only person that I actually would let like come over and touch Niduri. But when he put the powder in his mouth, I was a little bit nervous there because I'm like, wait a second, like I don't know. I've been healing with magic, but
it was a white powder.
Yeah.
Being next time is you could see it. It looked like it was like crushed up chalk, like it was a thick white powder. But
yeah,
you saw Niduri somehow.
Yeah.
Just like you woke up, probably still on the ground. I'll say you're still on the ground. You're still like hurting like hell, but you're conscious now.
Yeah. And I'd probably be like, well, by the gods, that is lucky indeed. Lucky that you had that special powder, Brother Tal. May I inquire what ingredients are in that?
You just see him kind of smirk at you. He goes, secrets of the sea.
Secrets indeed. Well, no problem then. One day, perhaps, I will learn these secrets.
You see him, he kind of like looks around, see nobody's paying attention. He kind of like leans and he goes, it's really just shells with a little bit of magic.
Be like, and like I would visibly feel better about like you could see it. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I would look over to Niduri and I'd be like, you took a good blow there. You have some sweet dreams.
Probably thinking about the horse, but this is what I get for being cautious for once. Yeah. What I get for hanging back.
You hear like a, oh crap. You look over, Grimwald looked like he tried to climb and kind of like fell. So he kind of picked himself up, brushed himself up, looking around, seeing how many people like saw it. And as he's doing it, he looks, oh, Niduri, you're up. What happened?
I'll look to Brother Ivar and ask, where'd the wee one get the pink thing?
Like,
Grimwald is wearing it, like he's wearing that bandolier. It's probably a little too big on him, but he's wearing this big pink bandolier on him.
Yeah. It's like, well, we found it kind of in this ruin here, but we haven't been able to figure out what it is. It's not quite the fashion that I've
lay there.
Be like, well, you see, we felt it was best to not wake you right away, just in case you had any head trauma or anything. It was a few hours, not too long.
All right then.
You'd be like, it's like he found it at the base of the thing. It was unfortunate that the horse got away, but but I suspect that the centipedes probably scared it off.
Niduri is so confused and excited.
You see Grimwald's walking over back, and you see him. He's trying to rip those like the tops off.
Yeah.
He can't. You see, he takes out his little short sword. He's trying to like pry him off the tops of the bandoliers. Still no success last night. Still no success. Grimwald kind of like walks over and says, "Wow, hey, you're up. What happened?"
That guy rubbed my throat. Or
He
something,
him? And he's
something
pointing to the
weird.
towel. You rubbed his throat? And Brother Tal's like, well, yeah. Well, you did that. I see he's awake. Here, you deserve this back then. And you can see Brother Tal looks at it and is like, it's my coin pouch. When did you get that? And Grimwald's like, don't worry about it. You got him up and running. It's yours. And Grimwald kind of like turns around and walks away, a little bit quicker step in him. 15 minutes and they're still
Nice.
going. All right. Now what? Villy is still sitting there. You can hear the hum of the energy field around them.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like at this point, although Nidori just woke up, we might want. I imagine he's still pretty in pretty bad shape. Yeah, and so I'm thinking, perhaps, and I would mention it. I would say, perhaps we ought to set up camp, get a fire going, get ready to bed down for the night. Could be a long morning tomorrow.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of the other crewmen have already kind of started that. Brother Tal comes over to you, Nidori. It sounds like a war zone here
Finale.
right
Nice.
now. Brother Tal comes over to you, Nidori. You start to try and get up. He's like, no. You stay down. You get your sleep. Says, don't worry. I promise I won't massage any more parts, but you need your rest.
Yeah, Niduri doesn't argue.
Myself and Brother Ivar here, we can heal you up, no problem. But right now, just get your rest. All right. And it's at that point you guys hear from not too far away from your clearing, sound of an animal in a lot of pain and running. And now I'm going to switch over. What's your character's name? Jokasia. Is that how you say it?
Jakasia.
Jakasia. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we'll switch over to another part of the island. It is near the beach, not on the beach, because passing out there would burn you alive. The black sand. You are just north of this. You finally open your eyes. You were on the ship, the Spinning Weasel. You were there for the Lizardman attack. That's the last thing you remember. You slowly wake up. The first thing you feel is just intense heat. And you hear birds squawking. You hear the waves lapping. And you open your eyes. All you can see to one side of you is this very thick jungle. To another side of you, it looks like the beach. The sand is just black. And you can see steam rising from it. You are in like the border zone between these two where the ground is hot but not burning. And you look around. There's nothing there. A couple pieces, parts of the boat. You figure you must have got knocked out one of those and got just drifted right in. Actually, you can see one of the pieces you came in on has the word weasel on it.
Yeah, Jakasia would, I guess, kind of cover her eyes from the sun, the glare, and look around. She doesn't see any other moving bodies or.
As you come to your eye, the sun, yeah, it is very bright, very hostile sun. There's no humanoids around. Some further down the beach, there are some good, decent-sized birds. You can tell they're bright orange. But from the distance you are and the size, these things look like they're pretty big.
She would look down at her own person, kind of take a stock of what she's got with her at this moment, what she has available.
Pretty much any armor you had, you'd still have. Any backpacks I'd say you probably had them. Anything sheathed, you'd probably have anything, because the lizardman fight, that was a battle. So anything you would have had in your hand as a battle, that probably would have been lost.
Yeah, I probably would have been using my bow at the time. So anything else would have been packed up.
So you probably have a quiver. No arrows in it, but you have a quiver.
That'll be helpful. So she's going to look around.
And it looks like you're on some type of beach, but like I said, the sand is black and there is steam rising from it.
I think the jungle is looking more promising at this moment. She's going to maybe look for some sort of like a sapling or anything that she could potentially make into a bow herself. At least starting, or even like a twig, like a stick, a fairly hefty stick, so she could sharpen it, have kind of like a spearish. She's immediately going to let's protect ourselves mode.
Okay. So you head into the jungle?
Yeah, not too far, but
okay.
Yeah.
First thing you notice is the heat gets even more intense when you get into the jungle. The humidity, at this humidity and this heat, you need water fast. You'll start dehydrating fast. But you're a ranger, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No, so after a little while, you can find a stick that you can I don't know, if you sharpen it a little bit, maybe soak it and bend it, you could probably get it to look. It won't be in like a bow, but it'll work as like a MacGyver type bow.
Perfect. Just something that a little bit better than what she has.
And so how would you string it though? Yeah.
Yeah, at this point she's just kind of gathering
supplies.
gathering supplies, gathering what she could use. Like even that it's going to take a while to actually make a bow and arrows and all that stuff. But if there's something that was like you said, that stick, we can, at some point she'll have the ability to maybe try making it into a bow, but she's also looking for like a sturdier thing that she can make kind of like into a javelin, or even just like a stabby stick,
okay.
right? Like, yeah.
So like a club or a javelin, like a makeshift
like a makeshift spear almost, but
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of trees and down branches in this forest, so yeah, I'll say after finding the piece of wood for your bow, and then finding this makeshift spear, probably about an hour. And you can tell when you went into the jungle, it was still daylight, but it was about to go down. In the jungle, you can't really, the canopy is thick. Probably like evening at this time.
Okay. Next, once she's got that makeshift spear and this wood piece, she's going to, next item on the agenda would be to try to find fresh water. Okay. And head towards there.
All right. So you kind of do, I guess, your ranger's thing. You as you're getting the woods, you start looking for trails, kind of maybe sniffing the air. You look around, like you pick up maybe some type of game trail. And usually, animals tend to go to water holes. It seems like it goes deeper into the jungle, though.
Yeah. So as right before she goes and follows that, I'm going to take one last look, I guess up and down the beach, to see if I can see anything like maybe the distance that I should be heading towards. If not, it's into the jungle, follow the game trail.
Okay. As you look back in the beach, and you kind of scan the beach and you scan the water, like where you're from, you can see in the distance, you don't know if your eyes are playing a trick you up, but like the sea goes out in the sky, and then it looks like it just stops. You're not like, it just, and then you do a double take and it seems normal. like as you look back towards the sea you came. And then take one last look. You can see the birds. Maybe they've gotten a little closer. And you can see these things are probably, I mean, if they stand up and they outstretch their wings, probably close to the size of a human.
Okay. Yeah, I think into the jungle then. We'll follow the game trail, try to head toward water. Just kind of keeping an eye out for other life forms that I may not want to run into.
So you go into the jungle. Very hot and humid in here. Lots of pretty much heavy terrain, difficult terrain, however it's classified in this game. And you're going through, you got your makeshift spear, you got a stick, you ready. If you find anything else, could probably make a bow. And you start hearing lots of noises around you. Lots of animals. You have no idea what, if it's a roar or if it's some type of call. You hear giant, and you hear the ground like thud, thud. You hear that. Can't tell exactly where around you. As you go into this jungle, this whole place seems to have come alive. There's lots of stuff here. You don't see anything, and there's nothing jumping out to attack you, but you're definitely not alone in this jungle. So, but you follow this trail a little bit, and it comes out. I'll say about 20 minutes. You follow this trail, and it's hard getting through, but you're able to follow it enough. I mean, the animals left enough of a clearing that you're able to kind of partly climb and partly stomp through to get this trail. And you come up and you get the jungle, and you can see ahead of you, the jungle kind of clears just a little bit. And you come to you walk towards it, and you come out. You're on the edge of like a small, it's not even a cliff. It's like a little drop. And there's a small like pond down there. It's surrounded by the jungle. It's literally like the jungle. This little pond is like down a little bit, and then that's it. There's maybe like a little beach to it, but it's literally just like a pond and then the jungle around it.
Right. And it's a drop from where I'm at?
Yeah, like a 5-foot drop.
5-foot drop. Do I see or hear any creatures that could be around the pond at this moment?
You stop and look. Nothing there at the moment.
I would head towards the water cautiously.
Okay. So you head out. You have your spear out, probably scanning around like crazy. And now you're at the edge of the water. If you, it looks like fresh water.
I will, I'll scoop my hands into the water.
Okay.
And I will taste it. Just take a little sip first.
You are very brave.
I'm very brave. Well, if we don't have water, we will die. So
if you're in the previous sessions, touching water would be like, oh no.
Oh no.
So you cup some of the water, taste it. It's definitely fresh water. I think it's like rainwater that's been gathered here. And pause for like a couple seconds. No convulsions start. You don't start choking.
I will take a bigger sip.
All right. So as you do that, you put your hand in, or either both your hands or one hand just as a bigger scoop.
Yeah.
You see on the other side of the pond ripples in the water.
How far away are we talking? Are we like 20, 30 feet or?
Probably 10 feet across. It's not a big.
It's very small. I would quickly go back up from where I came. So I'm no longer right back on the edge.
So as you back up and start to get up that 5-foot thing out of the water, two look like big snakes pop out. Now, interesting is these snakes look like they are covered in copper. Like they have diamond scales, and they have this nice shine off. It looks like it's actual copper. And they have like that blue-green swirls in it, like when copper gets wet, those like that blue-green coloring gets like that's in there in the swirl in the pattern. And it's pretty much as you're climbing up, they both come out, and they try and lunge at your legs. They're probably not. They get this. Yeah, no. So they both miss, but one of them grabs like the bottom of your boot, but it's not where your foot is, and you kind of just like kick it off. The other one comes up and snaps like, and it missed. Now you get up to the top of this thing, and you have two decent sized snakes right at the bottom, and they could easily. I mean, just by the size of them, they could easily get up there. But you also notice now that they're out of the water, they have chunks sticking out of them.
Sorry, they have chunks?
Like chunks of their skin are like ripped out, like open wounds are on them. But that doesn't seem to stop their them going after you.
Yeah, that's
so we get to do initiative now.
Okay, all right. So
Yeah.
I roll a d6, you say?
Yep. D6 plus whatever your dex is.
Okay. So that'll be a 4.
4. So you will go first. All right, so you'll be able to go first. Just
okay.
I gotta get your name. Jokashia, is that it?
Yeah, Jokashia.
Okay, I got it right.
Now
Now, two snakes coming at you. They both look like they're hurt, but it doesn't seem to stop their attack. And like I said, they look like metal. They move more like organic than mechanical, but they literally looks like their scales are made out of copper.
And they're pretty big. Like we're talking
like 6 feet long. But they're like thicker, like anaconda, maybe not quite anaconda size, but that thickness to their body, but like 6 feet long.
Wow. I don't want to stay around them.
I think I will send a picture to the Facebook chat. I realized I had a picture.
I think she's going to.
That's a black and white picture of snake, but like they look like that except they're copper, but with that blue green swirl on a lot of their scales.
Okay, she's going to I guess continue like to back up, but okay. I've got that makeshift spear and I'm going to kind of jab out with it as I
Okay. Left or right one?
Left.
Okay.
So this is a D20 then?
Yes, D20 plus whatever your attack.
Oh, 15.
I
don't know if that's good or bad.
You got 15 on die, that'll hit.
13 on the die plus 2 bonus. 15
will hit though, yeah.
Okay, so I don't know what you want to do for the makeshift spear.
Oh, that's right. You have a spear now. What's a spear damage? Other weapons. Go D6.
D6. Okay.
What's your strength modifier?
0.
Okay.
So 4 on the die.
Oh wow. Okay. That's enough to kill this thing.
Ooh, okay.
So I'll say you start to back up. The one on the left lunges at you. It looks like it's lunging right up at your face. You pull up that makeshift spear at the last moment, and its mouth swallows around its spear. Like your spear goes right down this thing's gullet, and you hear it like it makes this like coughing noise, and you can see the rest of its body kind of like flail out, and it's like shaking, like doing that convulsing thing, and you can see it just goes limp, but you got like its head kind of like on the edge of the spear.
Perfect.
All right. And then you start backing up.
Yeah, I'm going to slowly back up. I mean, I'm going backwards so that I'm watching what it's doing, but I'm trying to back away.
Okay. The other one, it's got 50 feet of movement, so. But at this point, before this thing goes, you hear behind you, almost sounds like a pig type animal from where you were, and you look, not coming down the path you were, but like running across it through jungle. is a boar. Like a big, not a dire boar, but like a decent sized boar. Looks like it's got cuts all over and it's just running through, and you can hear it's making this like cry as it's running through. This is not far behind you, but it's not paying any attention to you. But a boar is just charging through the jungle, making a lot of noise right now. All right. So this other snake, you see it's got its eyes, its little beady eyes just stare right at you. And it slowly comes up that little drop. It comes over, you see its tongue flicker out. And then like lightning, it just burst right at you. Does a 14 hit you?
My AC is 14.
Ooh.
So.
All right, so 2 points of damage from its teeth.
Oh God, save versus poison.
Yep, save versus poison.
Okay, so I roll a d20.
Yep.
And I'm trying to get. My saving throw is 11. I don't if that's. I try to get over that.
Trying to get over that. Yep.
Okay, and I have no modifiers because I'm just human. Oh, I got a 12 on the die.
Okay. Saves are very important in this game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this thing bit you and it let go. I say it got you. It went lunge at you. You put that spear up with the dead snake on it to try and deflect it, and it got you like right in the arm, and it pulls out. You can see 2 like teeth marks in your arm, and it comes off and it slithers back a little bit. You start like your eyes get heavy, and you start kind of like wobbling a little bit. Feels like you're almost going to collapse, but you manage. As you're doing that, you see the dead snake in front of you on your spear, and just the sight of that is like, what's going on? Like you just shake it off. Look, it felt like you were going to flat out just collapse, but you managed to shrug it off.
Dang.
All right, and at this moment, I'm going to shift back to the camp. Brother Ivar, Nadura, you'll hear this, and Grimwald, and pretty much everyone else. You hear this animal. It sounds something's nothing huge. Something's charging through the jungle. It sounds like it's coming right for your camp. And you can see all the other crew, like everyone's on high alert. They all have weapons out.
Sure.
Andros is going around. Everyone, get ready. Something's coming. Billy. You see the mage, like he's calling his name. Then he walks over, kind of like smacks Billy in the face. Billy, stop! You see Billy opens his eyes. He's like, what? Something's coming. Get ready. Get your damn wand. Fight. So pretty much everyone's ready. Pretty much everyone, the whole camp, except Naduri. I mean, you can kind of like sit up and like hold yourself up with your arms, but if you try to stand, you just get kind of woozy and like, nope. So everyone's ready.
Yeah, I think I would be standing kind of in front of Naduri, shield and Warhammer out, like ready, to defend our woozy dwarf companion.
All right, so you get in front of Naduri.
Yeah.
All right. So everyone's waiting. You can hear something's coming through jungle, and it's making like a I can't do a squeal, like a squeal, like a constant squealing noise moving through jungle. So Keisha, you can hear in the distance. This thing is just going further away from you. But everyone in the camp, it's coming closer. And then this thing burst out, and you can see it's a boar like the one you're cooking on a skewer. This one's got a lot of scrapes and cuts on it, but its eyes look wild. Like this, like its eyes, like big eyes, and you can see it's looking around. It is not there. Like it just charges whoever the closest person is. I would say, you know what? There's enough people here. I'm not going to do a full-on combat. Between Grimwald and Ryza with their bows, the mage, Andros, and the crewmen, they start attacking this thing. They hack away at its swords. One crewman gets his knee not dead, but like his knee, like its head swings around. Its tusk bashes one of the guy's knees. You see him drop, but he's on his knee and still swinging a sword trying to hit this thing. Eventually, enough people do take enough like just stab it with their swords. Some arrows go in it. Vili didn't want to waste a spell on this, so he just kind of stood there. But eventually this thing stayed alive a lot longer than it should have, the amount of damage it was taking. And it finally goes limp and drops. And Jokasia, you heard all that commotion. You heard a lot of yelling. Sound like human or like humanoid. Like you understood it. There was a lot of like common language yelling. Probably some cursing thrown in there. And we'll switch back to Jokasia. That happened, and you still have a snake in front of you.
Yeah. So she hears the commotion there, but her focus is on this other snake, this one that bit her, and she's gonna, like kind of shake that spear so that knocks that other snake off, and we're gonna try to stab at this one before it gets us again, I hope. Oh, okay, so that's a 14 on the die, so 16.
That hits.
Yeah, this dice has been nice to me tonight. Last night I played and it was rolling 1s and 2s, so I'm really happy.
Very brave of you to use that dice tonight.
It had to make up for itself. That is not so. Only 1 on the damage die.
What's your strength modifier?
A 0.
Yeah. Okay. So 1. So, like I said, this thing comes off. You shook it off, and this thing was starting to slink back. You kind of went to pretty much impale this spear through the thing, so it stayed there. But it kind of can't slither its head backwards. But you see, as you go do that, it starts slithering back, and you try to impale it, and you catch it, but the spear doesn't like go through it. And it kind of like its armor bounced it off, shot it up. You took off like a couple scales, and you see some blood spurt out, but you didn't try to like impale it. And this thing starts backing up. Probably backs up out of your melee range and just kind of stops and looks at you. You can still move if you want.
Yeah, I think she'll move slowly back some more away from where this thing is.
Okay. You see, once again, as you back up, it slowly starts slithering forward. It's almost keeping pace. Whatever speed you're backing up, it's doing the same speed forward, and its body is doing very wide, like slithers. It's almost like it's going around trees, and so it's almost like it's toying with you.
Okay.
And so, do you keep backing up?
No, I think after about like 5 to 10 feet, if it's still following me, I'm going to stop and stand my ground and kind of just wait for it to do whatever it is going to do.
Okay. So you stop. It doesn't stop slithering. It doesn't even it just literally slithers up to you, and then as it gets close, it does its like lunge to try and bite you. Okay, I rolled a 2, so that's gonna. I'll say whatever it was going for, like your gut, whatever armor you're wearing, its teeth just bounced off the armor, couldn't get a grip on, and it just bucks off. But you hear a loud hiss from behind you. And if you glance around, there's another one hanging in a tree right behind you. We're gonna switch to the camp.
So we took the boar down.
The boar is down.
Yep, and I think as maybe Captain Andros is whatever. I might kind of.
He's ordering Ryza to check this thing out and see if it is edible.
Yeah, and I would say, Captain, whatever chased that out of the woods might be still in there, might be coming. I think we should remain prepared in case something worse comes out after it.
Yes, I'm gonna go check it out. We need to see what's there. Okay, and you see him, he turns around, pretty much addressing the camp. Everyone, you saw what just happened. And we know this island is home to a lot of stuff that doesn't like us here. Probably wants us as its next meal. That boar came here. Most of you saw it. It was already cut up and scraped. Might not have been all there. I want to go see what caused this, because if something is there, it is right on our doorstep. And if I don't want to sleep with whatever it is next to us. I don't think any of you do either. You see a lot of the crewmen are like, no, no, no. He pulls out his sword. Who's with me? We got to go check it out.
And I would definitely
about half the
hesitate.
crew.
Yeah.
Half the crew kind of volunteers. Brother Tal says, I will just in case, I will stay with our my patient here, and he kind of walks over towards Naduri.
Yeah, I'd say at this point I'm probably like,
Yeah. You might, if you try and get up. Oh no, it hurts.
Yeah.
I feel bad this whole session. You're like,
Can't. Yeah, he's a fighter that can't fight. It's like, oh man. But that's the great thing about the OSR. Yeah, it's you get hurt, it's bad news.
you're hurt.
Yeah.
Because if you sleep, you heal, I think, 1 hit point.
So prior to Naduri going down, I probably would have followed the captain. It probably wouldn't have taken much. Even Grimwald might have just been able to, let's go. But now
Grimwald has stayed with you. He hasn't really followed the captain. He's kind of, you don't know if it's more like, I'm in a hostile place and more people with protection. Grimwald has stayed with you. You see him like, he's kind of looking at you guys. If you're gonna like, not Naduri, he's like Naduri's out of the picture.
Sure. Yeah.
He's looking at more like Ivar. Like, you see him kind of like with a
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, and so like I'm definitely hesitating. I'm concerned now because I don't want my companion left alone necessarily. Again, who knows what might come out, and so I kind of look to Naduri.
We do have a almost godlike wizard in the camp with you, and there are still 3 crewmen there too. So it's not.
Yeah.
They're all armed. None of them really have armor, but they all have weapons.
Yeah, sure. But wizards, you can't trust them. Their magic is unnatural. It doesn't, so I don't know. I would look to Naduri, though, and I would say, you all right if Brother Tal and his she-bitch watch over you while I go tend to this with the captain?
I mean, he is the only reason I'm awake right now. So, yeah, I'll kind of reluctantly, agree to everything.
Okay. So I will then say, all right, and I'll kind of go with the captain into the jungle.
All right. So the crew heads out. After about 5 minutes, Grimwald, like, you see his ears kind of like perk up. Did you hear that? He puts his hand up. Probably no one can see it, but he's a little halfling. Ivar, I'll say you see it. It's like, did you hear that? And there's actually, you guys aren't really quiet. Between Andros and the crew, you're kind of like just going through the jungle. So he stops with his hands up. The crew, Andros and the crew, they either didn't hear him or didn't care. They kept going.
And I guess I would look over and be like, what'd you hear?
I see him kind of like look around, like something that way. And it's like perpendicular to the way you guys are going. I could have sworn I heard. This again, did no one heard it?
And I think maybe at this point I'd be like, Captain Andros. Call out to him and see if he would stop.
Okay, yeah, he stops.
Back. Yeah.
What?
Be like, Grimwald here thinks he heard something over in that direction. Might be the thing that chased that boar out. Should we all go check it out?
Andros come. The other crew stay there. Andros comes up to Grimwald. He goes, "What did you hear?" Grimwald like looks up at him. Andros is kind of tall. Grimwald looks up. No one else heard that? I heard like a hiss. You see Andros like roll his eyes. Oh, you little man. We're in the jungle. course there are snakes. Grimwald's like, yes, but everything here has not been normal. Well, you're right. All right, men, follow the halfling. And Grimwald's like looking at like, what, me? Like, I'm leading? What? And you see Grimwald like, kind of, he looks over to you, Ivar, and like a shrug, like, really? Like me? You want me to lead?
Feel like your keen ears and your keen eyes should help spot any dangers. I'll stand right behind you. If anything comes out, snakes or otherwise, you just get behind my shield.
He kind of like looks. He looks to you, and then he looks to the rest of the crew, and he goes, okay. And he starts taking you to the jungle. He's got his... Oh, he has a couple weapons now. Oh, you know what? Yeah, he's got that long sword that he uses as like a two-handed sword, and he's got that out, and he's kind of like, it's kind of like dragging on the jungle floor next to him, but he's got that out, and he's like dragging it.
Ridiculous. Well, and I'm thinking that, worst comes to worst, that pink bandolier might look like, nice soft flesh. So, if it gets him, then it gives us time to get out of
He
there.
probably looks pretty ridiculous. He's a halfling. He's got this big pink bandolier on him, and it's a human-sized longsword, but to him, it's like a two-handed sword.
Mm-hmm.
Probably can't really swing it, but he's holding it. It looks half terrifying and half ridiculous.
Yeah. Awesome. But yeah, I would definitely be like on high alert, like right behind him, just waiting.
Yeah. And no one else seemed to have heard this now.
Yeah.
Is Grimwald playing a con on you guys? Who knows?
Well, yeah. I don't know. If there's no money in it, then I suspect he's probably not playing a joke, but
Sure,
we'll find out.
His money. All right. We'll go back to Jokashia. Did I get it right? I'll get it right eventually. Okay. We'll go back to you. You there's one snake in front of you, and there's one hanging in trees, and its head is like right behind you.
Yeah, that's not good. Going to lunge towards the one that is in front of me.
Okay.
And hopefully skewer it enough that I can get away from the one that's behind me.
Get it.
Okay, so that's a 12, so 14.
Ooh, that was just what you needed.
Oh, perfect. Oh, and that's a 5 on the die.
Ooh, that will kill this one. So I'll let you describe how you take the snake out with your spear.
Yeah, so I can imagine she hears that hiss behind her and she sees that other snake. And so she kind of goes into more of like a crouch to get away from it and lunges towards the other snake. And in the process, kind of almost doing a little tumble or whatever around it so that when she's done the move, she's on the other side, but using that snake now that she's kind of caught it right below its the head area, that kind of almost in its throat area,
underbelly.
Yeah, using it's now kind of almost like between her and that other snake is how she's kind of landed with it in between on the end of her spear. And that's I'm gonna watch that one that's in the tree.
So you kind of do a tumble and pretty much skewer the snake. And as you skewer, you kind of like look up and you see the other snake kind of drops. You hear like as it drops out of the trees, a thump on the ground. And it starts. This one does not look injured like the others.
Oh,
starts slithering, and it's like front part. You know how like a cobra kind of like leans up and then like looks. This thing, it doesn't do it quite like a cobra, but you can see it arches its head up a little bit and looks toward you, and it's just kind of sitting there scanning. Maybe some intelligence in this one. All right, now we'll go back. Pretty much, I don't want to have Grimwald do everything since he's not here. Ivar, how about you kind of you'll come upon this scene in about like a minute or two.
So we'll see like this.
So pretty much as you go forward a little more, you found Grimwald. Like Grimwald says, "Stop! Something's there." And then I'll say, Ivar, due to your height, you can actually see you see a giant snake kind of like plop, and you can see movement like something else is there.
All right. And in true Indiana Jones style, I'll be like, snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
I just have to be snakes.
And then I will, but I'm like, I don't want to tangle with a great big snake, you know.
You do have an armed party with you.
Well, yeah, but still. But then I'm like, well, you know, it might be more food for us later. So, like, all right, and I'll slowly kind of make my way forward. You know, prepared for battle, just to see what would have killed this thing, because you know, it looks. I imagine I could see, you know, the blood coming out of it, and so is it a predator or is it, you know, some other thing? You know, so yeah, I'll search it. I'll check it out. Not just the surroundings.
Oh, okay. So, are you going forward at all, or
Yeah, like
okay.
in the direction that presumably whatever killed this thing was in.
So you come up, and you'll say not eventually, like not too far ahead, is you find this like an old game trail, and that's when you come up and you can see literally like 5 minutes after you started, in front of you there is a big snake in the pathway, and looks behind the snake, the snake is facing away from you. Behind the snake facing towards you is a human female. And so, Keisha, I'll let you describe yourself.
So this woman, at this point, bedraggled, dirty, wet from the beach and coming ashore, clothes a little well worn. She's got long blonde hair, kind of tied in braids around her on her head. She's wearing leathers, which is probably not very comfortable in this situation where we're at. And you can see that she's got, at this point, a stick that she's made into a spear, and is what she's defending herself with against this snake.
And Ivar, you see there are a couple snakes around her, dead. And so, I guess as you show up, Ivar, describe yourself.
Yeah, so, you know, you would see a taller humanoid male. I think, I forget how I described it in the beginning, but I think kind of a, you know, darker hair, but like dirty, soiled robes. The only thing that's sort of nice would be like the holy symbol, you know, the sun symbol of the sun god, the god of light. And but I would have a warhammer in one hand, shield in the other. Did I pick up a shield again? I can't remember. I think I did.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got like a buckler, I think.
Yeah. Because it was the short shield that what's his name had. And so, but like, I think the thing that you would notice the most is just this like look of shock on my face. And would I have was she on our ship? Would she be recognizable as one of our passengers, or is that something I wouldn't necessarily know?
You know what? Roll a d6.
3.
You don't seem to recognize her.
Okay.
I think maybe something seems familiar, but you can't recollect anything.
All right. But seeing a female human alone in the jungle, surrounded by predators, even though she seems to be doing all right, I would offer assistance, I think, in this case, and I would say, because, well, I guess she sees us at this point, and she says, "Madam, I would say, can you use any help?"
Actually, Grimwald at this point goes, "Holy shit, another person!"
Yes, indeed.
All right. You can respond to him if you want.
I think she probably didn't notice you at this until you spoke, because she was so focused on this other snake that was in front of her, keeping her guard up on it, that when you spoke, it kind of almost startled her a little bit, and she's like, distract it.
Okay. And I guess, would we be able to see the other snake?
Oh yeah, this thing's
Okay.
right in front of
it's
you.
right
Its
in front.
back is
Okay.
well, as you say something, you see its
Yeah.
head kind of whip around.
Okay. And so yeah, as it does that, then I'll be like, I see it, and I'm like, whoa, and I'm like, I think we've distracted it. And then I kind of look to Grimwald, and I'll be like, get that crossbow out. This thing isn't gonna help you.
Oh, that's right. He did. Oh, that's right. You guys did find the bolts. You see him like look at the sword. He kind of like almost like a child tantrum, just like throws the sword down, and he tries to pull out the crossbow, gets caught in that like bandolier a little bit, and takes it out, gets a bolt.
Yeah, and I guess I would probably as
Rolled a 5, so he's he gets the bolt. He loads it and looks, but as he goes to shoot, you see him glance down at that sword that he threw down, and as he looks back is when he pulls the trigger, and it goes, Jokasha, you see this bolt go very wide as the snake kind of like whizzes by your head. And then he just like looks and is like, all you hear, well, anyone near him hears like a
I'd be like,
all right. Ivar, I'll give you an action.
Oh, sure. All right. Well, then in that case, I suppose if this snake is sort of looking at me, I'll advance on it, and I'll be like, oh, why am I doing this again? But I'll attack it if I can.
The cleric has become the tank.
Yeah, well, and I definitely do not hit it. I rolled a 3.
Okay, so you go in, advance with your hammer. Maybe you advance almost too cautiously, and you go to attack, and this thing just kind of, it didn't even slither back. It just kind of like jerked its head back some, and you just like whiffed like wide with your hammer. All right. I kept you guys initiative. So Jokasha, you can get it seems to be distracted at this moment.
She's going to take that opportunity to try to sneak up behind it and spear it. Oh my goodness, that is a 15, so 17.
Oh, that hits. Yep.
I like this die. And for another 5 points.
5. Oh, almost killed it.
All right.
All right. So as this thing is looking back, you see its head like jerk back as this warhammer swings right by it, and you just take that spear while it's facing away from you, just stab it in the back, and you can hear it like its head jerks up and you hears a loud like hiss. And Ivar, you can see some like venom just coming out of its mouth as it like just did this loud hiss. You see venom like popping out of its mouth. And it kind of like goes down. It doesn't die, you can see it, but it kind of like, you see it like look down at the spear going through it, and then you pull out the spear and you see it kind of like convulse a little bit, but then slowly turns around back towards you. And this snake will get a turn, and then everyone else. I got a 19.
Yeah, that'll hit.
All right.
Did I ever get a chance to heal up?
This is on Jokasha, actually.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay.
Because you stuck with the spear.
Okay.
So only 1 point of damage. With another save.
And the save, I rolled a 14.
All right. So once again, this thing turned, and it just kind of like lazily, but still with some strength reserve, it turned, and then just kind of like its whole body kind of like jumped at you. And once again, it just your other arm, it got you, and it pulls out. And once again, you start to feel, you got that same feeling again, like it's about you're able to shake it off better because you kind of knew. But once again, as its venom coursed through you, your like eyelids got heavy, and you just start wobbling a little bit. But then, like in your hazy vision, you see these other human beings. Well, not all human, other people are on this island, and they seem to be fighting the snake, and just shakes you out of this like daze. And see the snake kind of coils back, and you see its glance is going back towards Ivar and you. And now let's have Andros go.
Basically, I'd yell out at that point too, is don't let it bite you.
Yeah, so I'll say Ivar, you definitely saw it got her, and then you saw her just kind of like wobble, and you saw her eyes or at one point her eyes were closed, but she, whatever it was, she kind of like shook it off. But you definitely saw something happen as this thing bit you, or bit her. I mean,
Right.
all right. Andros comes in. He take out his sword. Looks like not really charging, but walking fast, and he kind of like trips over Root and he tries to recover and swing, but just nowhere near. Let's have a couple crew members. Miss, hit, miss. Okay. Oh, the last one wouldn't work, didn't they? 2. Ooh, almost. All right. So the 3 or 4 crew members that came up. Once again, it always looks comical when these guys because they all like at unison. They all come in and chop with swords. A bunch of them we just are chopping the jungle around. One of them seems to get its sword across this thing's body, and he hits it and then kind of like pulls the sword down, and almost you can see it almost cut this thing in half. It's like its skeleton's the only thing that's holding it together. He almost cut this thing in half, and this thing once again lets out this loud like hiss, almost ear breaker, just this loud hiss. And now we'll go through Tokashia. As you see, all these other people seem to be damaging this thing, but it's still up.
Did Ivar go or?
I'm not in like real initiative order right now. It's more, yeah.
Okay, so she'll try again while it's being distracted by all of these things to do another. Oh, that will be a 13. So
Ooh, no.
Kind of glances off if she doesn't quite get the jab that she needed.
You hit it, but just you right angle. It's like it's copper scale, so your spear just bounces right off of it. Kind of look at the point. Spear did not break, but it just bounced right off. All right, Grimwald and Ivar. Ivar, since you're here, I'll let you go first.
All right. Well then, yeah. I mean,
Grimwald's loading up another bolt.
And at this point, my confidence is starting to shake a little bit because yet again we've rushed into this situation. The woman is taking damage, and I'm just having these flashbacks of our companions going down, and I have no way to heal them. So I think at this point I hesitate a little bit, and I'll say, something along the lines of like, the Lord of Light, illuminate my path, grant me the strength I need to vanquish evil in your name, please. And I think at that point I'll just give out this roar of like sort of frustration, but hopefully to sound a little bit like a battle cry, and then I will press the attack one more time. Oh, nat 20. And let's see, I think I get a d6 from a warhammer to 3 damage.
All right. Yeah, you won't need to do more. All right, so this will kill it. So you can describe how you end this thing with a warhammer.
Yeah. All right. So the way that Ivar sees it is he goes rushing in, right? Shield, like the thing I think the snake would kind of come up and he would block it with his shield as it kind of comes in for a strike, and then he would bring the hammer around, and as the hammer's coming around, there's this like flash of light or whatever, and it goes and smashes right into the back of his head, into the back of the snake's head. And I would imagine that it almost like impales the snake's head on and squishes it onto this buckler, and the 2 fangs come through, and I'm like, ugh! And then it's like all this like gore and whatever, and then kind of I'm just like, ugh! Pull it out of the shield, throw it down, spit on it.
Yeah, the 2 fangs impale it, and then its head is just squished in guts.
Yep.
So most of it just kind of falls, but you have these snake fangs and some nice gore on your shield.
Nice, yeah. And I think that I would, if the snake fangs are still in the shield, I'm going to keep those as a memento.
Well, you can see
at some
As
point.
the rest of it drops, you can see venom dripping off these things.
Yeah. And I'm like kind of holding the shield a little bit, trying to make it so the venom's not dripping on me. And I'll be like, looks like the Lord of Light has provided after all.
All right, I'm going to do a quick shift back to the camp. Naduri, Brother Tal is there with you. You start hearing what sounds, I mean, they're not quiet when they fight. You, not that far away, you're hearing combat. See, Brother Tal was sitting with you, and he, so you guys are like playing some type of, he made like a makeshift card game he was playing with you.
Nice.
And he kind of like stands up and is like, ooh, looks like they found something. Oof. And he looks at him like, oof, sorry, dude, I know you want to be there.
Yeah. It's kind of rough for a fighter to not be in the fray.
Hey, could be worse.
True. I could be laying on the ground.
Hey, you want to take a bet? See how many come back running like a baby?
I'm gonna guess all of them.
Oh, damn, that was my choice. All right. You know what? I know Andros won't. I'll say the crew members. Maybe that little one with you there. He might do it.
I think he's got a little bit more sand than that, but
Well, he pulls out his coin pouch. It's like, yeah, but he took this from me, so I kind of want him to run back like a baby. He opens up, takes out 2 gold from like Caldwin gold. It's like, yeah, there's my bag.
Naduri will like triple the bet.
Oh, and you're saying
He's
all
been
of them.
slinging extra gold the whole time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna take that bet now because I want to say all of them too. But and I don't want to lose all my gold tonight. You nearly seem like look around. Yeah, I know it's not good for much here, but god damn, it's my gold.
Naduri will kind of like lazily clap him on the back, just trying to have some sort of camaraderie, and then just kind of wince a little bit.
Yeah, he gives you one of your like you have like throwing hammer, or you have throwing hammers or axes.
I have a warhammer and a hand axe currently.
Okay, so he kind of hands you your hand axe. I mean, you can hold it no problem. He's like, you might want to keep that just in case. Who knows what's really there. You see the other crew members that were back at the camp. They're doing like a perimeter patrol, but you can see they're all nervous. They're all gripping, like they have white. Their hands are white from just gripping their swords tight. They don't know what's going on. And Villy, of course. Well, Villy's got up and moved. He's over towards the statue, and you can see he's looking at these flowers. He's kind of been focused on them for a while. Now we'll switch back to the pond. Combat is now done.
I think now that we're sort of out of combat, I would look at the human female here and see that she's a little bit wounded, but seems to be, for the most part, on her feet. Doesn't seem to be suffering the effects of the snake's venom. And so I would say, good lady, well met. Have you? How do you find yourself on this island? And are you okay?
Yeah, and as you're talking, she's already turning away and probably going back to that first snake, gathering the stuff, knowing that, good or not, this is food, not knowing where your guys are, how many there are. And she's like, thank you. That was a timely show up. And then she'll stop as she's, kind of coiling, kind of gathering the snake and into a pile that she could carry. She stops and she looks at you. I don't know how I got here. The last I remember was battle on the Spinning Weasel, and I wake up here all alone, and well,
go ahead.
we need to find food, shelter, water. There's some water down there. We got some food. How did you guys? Where are you from?
And I would say, I thought you looked somewhat familiar. We were on the Weasel as well. We have a camp, armed people, and some food and water. If you wish to accompany us, we also have myself and another who can help tend to your wounds.
That is the
Jokeisha in the back, as he's saying this, in the back, you can see there's one, the taller gentleman. He's got like the thin mustache hair, and you can see he's got like a chain shirt with some clothes on top of it that are ripped. When he says the son of the Spinning Weasel, you keep looking at this guy, like he was this guy was the captain on the Weasel.
Yeah, so as soon as you like saying that the camp, and then she notices this guy, she's like, she'll pick up one of those snakes and have it around, kind of around her, kind of like a, I don't know,
scarf or whatever.
Like a scarf,
yeah,
just draped over her, because this is the best way to carry it. And she looks, you are the captain.
Andros, he kind of like stands up straight. He goes, yes, the Weasel is my boat.
How did we find ourselves here?
That's a good question. So you knew about the attack, then you were there. We don't know what happened. Something blew up on the ship. Killed a lot of people, knocked some out. This is what you see here. Pretty much all that I was able to recover and get to this island.
Well, I'm really glad to see you. And she will start walking towards the group of you. Can somebody help with that? And she'll point to another one of the snakes.
There's two more dead snakes there.
Yeah, I'm not touching that.
The crew will. There's 4 crewmen. They'll two on each snake. They'll go. Andrew, you see them kind of hesitant. Andros will, come on, get to it. Help the lady out. Grimwald has mysteriously disappeared.
Oh.
Of course he has. All right. Well, I guess at that point then, I would be turning around and I would be like, so Grimwald, hey, where'd he go?
Over here. You hear from you can't see him, but it's not far from the pond, but it's in the jungle, but not far from the pond. And then you hear movement. You can tell it's that sword dragon in the jungle.
Yeah.
He comes kind of on the other side of the pond. He goes, "Come here, I found something."
Be like, cursed damn halfling is gonna be the death of us for sure. And then I walk over to see what he saw.
All right, so he brings you just past the pond. It was Jocation. It was right past the clearing. From where you were, there's no way you would have seen it, but it's really not far past into the jungle from where the pond was. There is a human corpse. Looks like it's been there for a while. It's still got flesh on it, but it's not a fresh kill. Looks like it's been eaten on. It's looks like it's a human male on the youngish side. It had a suit of studded leather. It's no good though. It's got pieces ripped off, taken off. The body's in pretty it was mangled. But laying next to it, somehow unscathed, there is a bow. His quiver is empty. Grimwald kind of kicks him over, a little bit, but it kind of lifts him up. Zero respect. And starts patting him down. And he pulls out a leather case, and it's rectangle shaped. Ooh, what's this? And he opens it up, and it's a book. And there's one I will send you guys the PDF that you guys found. The Field Guide to Hot Springs Island. It literally looks like this and says it on the cover. The Field Guide to Hot Springs Island. For anyone watching, this is like the player's guide to the Hot Springs Island. It is an in-game item for the setting also.
A lot of good it did him though.
And the book actually looks in decent condition.
So did Jokesha come with us, or was it just me that ran off to find Grimwald?
I'll say you went off. Andros and the crew, they would follow, but not right away.
Okay.
Jokesha, it's up to you if you would have followed Ivar right away.
I probably would have been following the crew back to camp with I've got that snake around. I'm not too mobile at this point.
Sure.
So I probably wouldn't have disappeared into the jungle with you, like to the pond.
Okay, so Ivar, it's just
Yeah.
you. Grimwald kind of like, Pat, like, no coin. Yeah. All right, I see you at camp. He seems very disappointed. I mean, he kept the book. He seems very disappointed.
Yeah. Did he leave the bow on the ground?
He did.
All right. I'd be like, wait, hold on. And I'd pick up the bow and I'd be like, look, this is probably too big for him to shoot, right?
Yeah, that's why he looks at it as like,
Yeah.
wield that thing.
Be like, I hear
Granted, he's holding his
right. I was gonna say, I hear what you're saying, but you have that long sword, and you seem to favor that. Why don't you just carry this, and I'll hold on to the book for now?
No.
Be like, it just occurred to me, Grimwald, you can read, right?
Honestly, I don't know if his character can or not. I'm gonna say he probably can, but
Yeah.
I really don't know if his character can. You see, Grimwald stops and thinks, like, and he pulls it out. Well, I think it says Field Guide to Hot Spring Island, and he holds it up. Is that what it says?
And I would be like, my eyes aren't so good right now. Can I kind of reach out for it, like I'm gonna pull
Sure, he'll hand it to you to see.
All right, excellent. And I was like, oh, you can read, excellent. And then I'd be like, well, this should come in handy for sure. Let me ask you something. Do you enjoy reading?
You just took my book.
No, I was looking at it. I'm asking you if you enjoy reading.
It's come in handy before.
Well, all right. Well, then here. This one looks like somewhat of a dense tome, but if it's something you're interested in,
He's kind of got a look of like shock on his face, like, just took my book.
yeah, but I just handed it back to him. And I'd be like, if you find that one's a little too tough, let me know. I've spent my life in books. I shouldn't have any problem with it.
Oh. You see him kind of like, once again, kind of like a child that got in trouble for stealing. Like, he kind of like, his head's pointing down, and he kind of like slowly lifts up the book towards you. Oh, okay, I got the hint. Here.
Oh, well, thank you. That's most generous of you. It's probably not of any value anyway.
Well, I will say, when you open it up and from the front cover, there's a map with handwritten charts of what's the island.
Perfect. Be like, excellent. And I guess I'll probably hang on to the bow then too.
I will send you guys the PDF so you can see what actually. But I mean, you flip through it; it's got entries on the plants.
Yeah.
Entries on creatures. Elemental, like this is what it actually is. The book.
Yeah. My lord, elementals. We don't need any of that. So yeah, I would sort of be flipping through it as we're going back, and then I guess as we come back to the full crew, I would come over, make my way over to Captain Andros, and I would hold up the book and I would be like, Captain, our friend Grimwald here found something quite valuable. If this is accurate, this looks to be possibly our way off the island.
So you hand Andros the book.
Well, I'll hold it up so he can see it, and if he takes it, I'll let him. But
oh yeah, I mean he goes to grab it.
Yeah, yep, that's fine.
He looks at the cover, then he opens it. And you see his eyes kind of go wide at the map. He goes, "Is this real?"
I don't know, but that guy there died with that book on him, so got
Where did
nothing
you
else
get
to go
this?
on. Just a
Where did you get this?
just a dead man back here. Didn't seem like he was all chewed on. Didn't have much going for him.
This is correct. This could be a lifesaver. You see him reading the chart, and it's like it's the inside cover's got the island, and right next to it is like a chart. It's got jot stuff down. He's looking. You see him here, like Boar's Head, Bone Tree, White Rock Spring, Glavrod Village. There's a village here.
Perhaps that's where that man was from.
Oh. The Burning Jungle, Whale Graveyard. Wow. I suggest we all might want to go through this and see. Well, who knows if this is real or just some fictional account of this place.
I agree, but if the map does prove to be true, I'm sure Risa can confirm landmarks for us at the very least.
And at that point, Niduri, you see everyone, you and the brother Tal are still like playing cards. He's also made some rocks into like some dice. You see everyone's coming back. You see all the crew members that went out. They're carrying two on each. They're both all four of them are carrying these two like big snakes back into the camp. These snakes look like they have like metal skin. And then you're counting like you're doing your bet with brother Tal, like 1, 2, 3, like everyone's there. I would have won. Behind them, there's a new figure. I'm not gonna have you do a description all over again, but it's the same description
Right,
earlier.
right.
This person's there with one of those snakes draped around her neck.
Yeah, Niduri's still not going to get up just from being exhausted, but just kind of be like really surprised and kind of trying to take everything in. Since there's new blood in camp.
Yeah, brother Tal kind of stands up. Was like, "Oh, we have a new face to the camp. This ought to be an interesting tale."
Indeed.
All right, so Jokasha, you follow them back to the camp, and you can see this clearing, and it's set up. It's like, okay, there's tents everywhere. There's a fire. There's what looks like another boar set up on a skewer, and you see a dead boar on the outskirts, probably the one that you saw earlier. There's about 7 crew. I mean, there's the 4 that went with you. There were 3 other crew members there. Andros is there, and you see a guy, human male. He's got facial hair similar to me, but just like the mustache and beard, whatever that's called. I forget on there. Jet black, and he's got kind of like the horseshoe hair. That's also jet. He's bald, but with the horseshoe hair. That hair is also jet black. He's got a black robe, and it's got stars and some moons on it. And if you look at it closely, you can see they shift somewhat. But this guy's just sitting there. I mean, no, he's up by the statue, and this is the first time you see a statue. It's pretty much a half nude, like elven woman. Statue probably would have been humongous. It's now like buried itself half in the ground, and there's all these interesting plants growing up around it. You see that this guy with this robe, he's over there, and he's got some of these like seed sacks and flowers in his hand, and he's like studying them. He kind of glances over, takes in everything, and just kind of like glances back and goes back to what he's doing. And if no one's cleared them out, there are some dead centipedes in this area too. Oh, and you also see I forgot about Niduri and Tal. There is a dwarf. Niduri, you can describe yourself.
Yeah, so I'm way worse for wear. Pretty stereotypical dwarf. Warhammer hand axe, bites from the centipede, and currently hanging out gambling.
Yeah, so there's a pretty beat up looking dwarf that's I mean, and I described Brother Tao earlier. He's the young human male in almost like traveling clothes. He's got a staff, and he's wearing what was his amulet again? I think it was a coin. Was his amulet? Looks like he's there. It looks like he's playing some type of gambling game with this dwarf that's laying on the ground. That guy kind of like stands up. You see him say something to the dwarf. You can't hear what he says, but that's pretty much the layout of the camp. And you can see near one of the tents there are lots of barrels of water. There are crates of. You can see on top of the crates are some rations. So there is a lot of food and water here. Nothing spectacular, but food and water.
She'll turn to, like, taking all of this, and she'll turn to the captain. How long have you guys been here?
Well, here in this camp, only a couple of hours. And you see him thinking, like, technically just arrived on this island this morning, but Billy there, and he kind of cocks his head towards the mage, says that we've been here a lot longer than what feels, but to me it's just been a day.
You guys have done a lot in a day. I'm impressed.
Let's just say we've gone through a lot. There used to be a couple more crew members with us.
I think she would kind of approach where, I guess, the dead boar, just where it is, and drop the snake there. There's more food, and she's not going to deal with it right now. And she's just kind of getting a lay of them. Does she recognize anybody here?
Roll a d6.
3.
Roll another one.
2.
2. Okay. So no.
Okay. She probably kept herself a lot on the vessel, on the journey, so most of these people she didn't interact with the entire journey. So I think she'll make her way over to the statue and give it more of a gander.
Okay. Let me see. I got a picture of it. Not that picture. Okay. There's the statue. And those are the flowers around it. So like I said, the statue, it's a big elven, it's an elven female. It's got its hand outstretched from where it's buried. The hand is like right on the ground. Grimwald, you can see also he kind of just sits on his hand, and that's his like chill spot. All these flowers are growing up around it, and they all have like thorny bushes, big like a fuzzy orange flower. Some of them have these big like seed pods underneath it. A couple of them seem to be oozing out some nectar from the flower itself. Is just like oozing out nectar. You see the mage guy there. He's got some of these flowers in his hand, and he's just like turning them over, looking at them. And you can actually, as you're near him, you can just like feel this like energy like just pulsing off of him.
Muted. The energy is coming from him.
Yeah, from him. Yeah.
Interesting. What do you got there?
You see him kind of like slowly put the flowers down. He like turns towards you, and you can see his eyes are almost like not completely black, but it's like his pupils are heavily dilated. I'm not sure yet. Something tells me these flowers may be the key to something on this island. How long have you been here?
In camp? I just got here.
On the island.
Hours, maybe?
As he's talking to you, it's kind of like he's just very unnerving. Just the way he's very like, He's almost like not there, and it's like it's just like it's like a voice talking to you. It's like he's almost not there. It's like, I will unlock it. Something is here. And he just turns back to these like flowers. And at this point, you see Grimwald comes up. He sits in the outstretched hand. He kind of sits there and like looks at you. Says, "Yeah, he likes these flowers. He's in La La Land a lot nowadays, though. So don't worry about him."
Yeah, okay.
He goes, "Did you meet Riza yet?"
No. Who's
Ooh.
Riza?
So at this dramatically appropriate moment, someone else comes out from the jungle into the camp, and she's dragging behind her like a small boar. It's a human female, young, with long blonde hair, very athletic, like lean build. And you see she's got a bow strapped across her. She's got a sword at her belt. She's got kind of a mechanically it works as leather armor, but the way it's not like a set of armor. It's like pieces of leather that kind of blend into her clothes. So it looks pretty. It looks very badass and comfortable at the same time. But she comes strolling in, and you see Grimwald gets very excited when she comes in. And then she kind of like stops, sees you, and says, "Who are you?" Looking right at you, Jokashia.
I'm Jakashia. I was on the Spinning Weasel. Who are you?
You see her like look around, and like no one's telling her like kill like. Oh, you're from the Weasel also. Interesting. My name's Riza. And she kind of like drops the boar, and puts out her hand.
I would take the hand.
Okay, she'll shake it. It's a pretty her like lean build. It's a pretty hefty like shake. Says, "Well, welcome to our camp."
Thanks. I'm really glad to have met and ran into you guys. I did not relish the thought of being on this island alone.
As well. And you look around. Unfortunately, I think this is it from the Weasel.
Well, it's better than it was a situation I was in, a couple hours ago. So maybe together we can figure how to get out of this place.
You see her kind of like nod and says, "Well, since you're here, join us for dinner." And you see her, she bends down and hefts up this like young boar, kind of drags it towards the skewer, and then she stops. She sees the snake, says, "Where'd these come from?"
Well, I couldn't come without bearing gifts.
She kind of looks a little surprised at you, says, "You killed them?
2.
Impressive."
I just did what I had to do.
She you see her bend down. She pulls out a knife from her belt. And you can see her like stab it. First stab doesn't actually go in, but then she gets the knife in and kind of drags it down. So what the hell is this beastie skin? And she's like, you can see her open it up. It looks in like, oh, there's meat in here. Not much, but it is probably edible. We see she rips off, like she carves almost like a chunk of the the scales, holds it up. You can see her like look, says, everyone, she looks down at the snake. This is metal skin.
Like real metal? And that's got Jakashia's interest, and she would go over to it.
Yeah,
and kind of like
she
tap it.
Yeah, she holds it with her hand. She's tapping with like just like a tap with the knife, and it's making like a clang sound. She goes, This is copper skin. Like real copper skin. And Sue just kind of look up. She goes, "What the hell is with this place? Nothing. She goes, "Absolutely nothing has been normal here except these boars." All right. So at this point, she'll finish the boar on the skewer, and honestly, at this point, unless there's any RPing left, the session is going to end pretty soon. If anyone wants to RP, nothing else event planned. Inadori, this is your chance.
No, I think Naduri is like pretty much wiped out and just gonna rest while nothing else is going on.
Yeah, you hear Brother Tao go like, "Yes!" And he like looked down, he rolled like whatever, like this, his game's version of a nat 20, like he rolled on your dice game. Kind of like looks to you like, "Yeah, when you're better, you got to pay up."
And Naduri's roll is an 11 or the equivalent. So he pays up reluctantly, but
Yeah.
still
Don't worry
kinda
about it
laughs
now.
about it.
Wait till you're better. I don't want you to feel like I took advantage of an injured dwarf. Don't worry. You'll be fine. He says, "I'm here. You got Brother Ivar. We know what we're doing." Well, at least I do.
Nice. And I think maybe like as Naduri is kind of wrapping up and getting ready to like bed down for the evening, I would kind of come over, and kind of, I don't know if we even have bedrolls anymore. Maybe we're just like sleeping in the sand or something, but I don't know, I might grab something and put it under my head getting ready to go to sleep, and I'd be like, scoundrels like that, not wise to gamble with them. Those dice are probably loaded.
What do you mean loaded?
Like, you have a lot you have a lot to learn in this world, Naduri. But don't worry, stick with me, and I'll make sure you learn it. Just don't gamble with him anymore.
Okay.
Grimwald at this point, as you're saying that, he kind of like walks by, doesn't stop, keeps walking, but looks at you and goes, "Yeah, he cheats." Just keeps walking.
And then I would say, well, this has been one hell of a day. Let's hope the light of the morning shines upon us with better fortunes.
Indeed.
Anything, Jocasia?
Yeah, no, I think at this point she's just kind of taking it all in, all these new people, new faces. She's just found a spot, maybe away from them all, but where she can see them all. And she's just kind of getting a feel for the place, eating some of that boar that was served to her, and just, yeah, that's how she'd spend her evening. Yeah.
The comfort level is definitely not there. There are tents, but no, like Ivar said, there is no bedroll, so it's jungle floor, pillow out of something. But there is plenty of food, actual like meat food, lots of water. There's a fire going. People, you see the crew members as darkness falls. They're setting up staked torches, pretty much around your perimeter. So the camp is always, even when in the middle of the night, it'll always be in like a dim light. And there'll always be some crew member guards. Pretty much like three on. Well, there's 7. So whatever. All 7 of them rotate a shift to just patrol the perimeter, and pretty much a constant watch. Villy, at one point you see him, he puts like globes of light on the statue, like 5 of them all over the statue. So statue is almost like a dull beacon almost. But it's kind of like this like white, like there's the torchlight, and then these globes are letting off like a white light. So it's kind of like this mysterious like glow over part of the campsite. And at that point, as our camp retires for the night, and maybe some things go on in the night, some more gambling perhaps, or maybe some drinking. But the camera will fade out as to the first day on the island is now concluded. And that will end our session. So thank everyone for watching. This was Hot Springs Island using the Basic Fantasy role-playing game. And come back for our next session.